wanted to bring us up too.
It says we're live.
Does it? It
Yeah,
does say we're live. That's nice. I like it.
yeah.
I forgot to get the other one up on my other screen here. And now I'm watching ducks dance around the screen here on a commercial. All right. Okay, everybody, we got Don tonight because Mr. Ape is out of town on business. He's I think he's at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Is that in Tennessee? He's in Tennessee, man.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a picture of I think it was the parking lot for it, but he
Well,
must have been in the right area.
I'm sure he's got
Huh?
tickets. I'm sure he's got tickets.
Oh yeah, he's a man of culture, man.
Yep.
I guess that's culture, country music.
Yeah.
Somebody's
And I'm
culture, right?
sure that's the type of venue that you can bring a Miller Lite into the venue. So
That's a good. I've actually been there before too. I've been by it. I haven't been to it. I've been in it, but I've been by there. We vacationed there one year.
I was going to say I never
Well,
been to Tennessee, but I did when I drove to Huntsville. I went through there. So
yeah. I've been there with me and old Dennis. We drove through there a couple times. Got some good Mexican food in the place where
nice.
we weren't quite sure we were getting what we ordered because the girl did not speak one lick of English. But at least the owner came out and checked with us to make sure we were getting what we wanted. So
You
that
only
was
need
cool.
one
I
word.
think she just yes,
You
no
just need
mas,
the word as long as
more.
you as long as you know the word taco, you're good.
Yeah, it was actually really good too. It's a
Yeah.
really good spot. What have you been up to, man? I know you bought some stuff. I don't know if you want to share that or not.
Oh, I don't. I always want to. Well, to me, I know some people get upset, but
Yeah.
it's not intentional to be bragging about anything. But yes, I did get another amplifier. I got the KXP KXP or yeah KXP
KPA,
500.
KPA.
Or KPA. That's it. I always want to put the X
Man,
in there, but that's not. That's the small one.
that's the little
And
radios.
yeah, and I've got it hooked to the Square SDR, and it's giving me
KPA.
100
It,
watts.
it's 45 months member.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you were telling me. I thought that was more for. I thought that would do like QRP radios up to 500, but I guess it still has to be. You said 40 watts or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Probably
the
50 watts.
supposed drive on it is 40 watts. And I'm putting 5 watts, in fact 3 watts into it. I'm getting 100 watts out, so
That's good.
maybe
What
this
do you?
one.
Oh, you have it hooked up to like that special Hermes you got, huh?
No, I don't. Well, the Square, but the Square is just a Hermes. I do have a Brick, and Brick is a 20-watt Hermes clone. It's actually a DDC DDU or whatever that
Oh, really?
thing is.
I
But
didn't know
yeah,
you had that.
yeah,
You've never told me that before.
well, yeah, I don't think I mentioned it because well, the reason is I was never sure it was working well. And I think that's more of the software. And the more that I use these Anons, the more I understand how to set them up.
Right. This
So,
the Onion's got a kind of a well, which is like a Hermes, kind of the same
yeah.
thing. Kind of a steep curve, especially for somebody like me that's not a big computer person to start with.
Hmm.
And if I hadn't known you, I probably might not even have mine on the air, but you helped me out a lot on this thing.
Well,
So we're going to talk about one of your favorite antennas here lately, and that is the Delta Loop. The Green Mountain Maniac, Steve.
yeah, yeah, Steve, yeah.
So he lives in what's that? He lives in starts with a V,
Vermont,
Vermont,
Vermont, yeah.
and he used to have one up with a reflector, and that guy would just like
Mm,
100 watts kill it into the Europe all the time.
yep.
So they're a pretty good antenna. We're going to learn a little bit about them tonight because I've been actually looking into them. We're actually let me show you something here.
Yeah. You want to show us your handiwork there, Chuck?
So this is part of one that we're thinking about doing. So there's
Oh,
your 4-to-1.
okay.
And then I got other parts for it. I haven't set one up yet, but
Yeah.
we're working on it because we may offer something like that because you can actually set it up with one. Well, you'll see this. You can set it up with one mast and a couple stakes,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mike
and
showed
we might
one.
play with it.
He showed one.
Yeah, he did. And I was proud of Mike. He figured out by looking at his contacts which way the signal actually went, and he was totally correct on that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Because I built one today. It won't get out, but I printed one up because they said we should have some kind of a prop, and this is my prop. This is one here, and right now this one's being fed. So it would hang like this. It's being fed here, and that
Hmm.
makes it vertical if I remember right. But you can also turn it to here, and you can feed it at the top.
Yeah.
And then you can also, when it's down here, you could take this and move it to the middle here and feed it here.
Yep.
This is another place you could feed it. Feed
Well,
either side at the top, either feed either of the corners, or you could feed it here someplace if you want to. And every time you move it, and I didn't get that. I was out playing today. I don't have the thing for that. We can maybe bring it up later if we have time. But each way you feed it makes it either vertical or horizontal, right?
hmm
I don't always remember. I know this is vertical down here, and that's the way
uh,
we're going to try and set it. And
generally, like the your hex thing, the other device that y'all
mhm.
are working on. That's why I was so adamant about like making it into a delta because it is fed.
Well,
The triangle comes together right at the bottom, right?
and because we like you, Don,
Yes.
and we respect your opinion, we're going to have it. We're going to make an our Hydra box to go with that.
Yes.
That's to come. That's I don't have
But
enough time to get that ready before Dayton, I don't think, but
do you
we'll
have
have it
a
there for
do you have your little device, the little hex thing?
my.
Little,
Well,
the
yeah,
things y'all are
sort
going
of.
to sell at.
Yeah, I've got this is the older style, but same thing.
Yeah, same thing. So if you look, so if that
So we'll
is
go out
fed,
these two here.
yeah, if you feed off those two, then you're essentially creating a vertical polarization because the
Yeah.
bottom of the
Well,
triangle
because it is off of it. Yep.
yeah.
Right. Because
Well,
because
and
this
yeah,
is where you,
right, right. And that will give you a more vertical, or it seems to be. See, the one that I have, it's literally on either side. It is two huge pipes that is 23 feet in the air, and then there's a wire that goes across the top, and it's fed with a 4-to-1 at the bottom. And that
yeah.
thing, I was so impressed with it when one time I had the 7300 hooked to it and was running it on 20 meters. And Callum was on the air and I was listening for him on everything else I've got. And I went over there and I hit that loop and I was like, wow, he's 5.5. I didn't hear him on anything else. And so I called back to him and he came right back to me. And
Hmm.
I was that with 100 watts, that was all I was pushing out of that thing. And I
So
got into England.
one thing I didn't mention,
Mhm.
your signal goes this way, so it goes these two ways, right? Not off
Uh,
the sides. Goes
no,
like this.
it literally goes off the sides. The center is always where the null is on
No,
any.
no, it goes this way and this way.
If you
Pretty
look at
sure.
if you look at the modeling on it, it comes off the wires.
Yeah, but sideways because
Uh,
that's way you when you put one behind it. Now you've got like a two element, so it goes
yeah,
that way.
a reflector, but yeah. Anyway,
Believe me.
the thing on most loops is that it's the the null is where the hole is, but
Okay. So
I I'll go with what you're saying. I'm not 100%, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Uh, so I have a little slideshow. We're gonna do the ape slideshow tonight.
yes.
It won't be up to his standards, I'm sure. But I'm just looking this up. All right, broadside. Yep, like I said. Delta loop antenna's signal propagates broadside, perpendicular to the plane of the fault wire loop. I'll send it to you later.
Yeah.
All right, let's
What does broadside mean though?
broadside is this is broadside.
I think
Like if
broadside.
this like this. Okay, well, tell me which if this was a dipole, which way is broadside? This way, right?
Mm,
Here's your
yeah,
V dipole.
it's
Which way is
definitely not going
broadside?
off the ends, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I'm just saying, my man. I'm just saying.
Mm,
Let's see if I can pick the right one here. So, why they are loved by so many hams. And we're going to find out why that is.
mhm.
There's some reasons. And our buddy Don is one of those guys that he wants to love
Yeah.
one. He wants to love him a Delta loop here pretty soon.
Even if I don't quite know how they work.
That's right. Well, you're learning. That's what we're doing tonight. We're learning.
Yeah. And
But that's what Mike found out when he was doing his POTA. All his and that's where all of his signals or his contacts were broadside, or mostly.
mm,
And Liberty says I'm correct, so I must be correct.
okay.
Or do you say is correct? Well, he okay.
Yeah.
We need a little spelling lesson there, but even I could figure that one out.
Yep.
Okay, so I got to see. So we'll just start there, and we'll just go to here. So what is a delta loop? So a delta loop is a full wave wire. So
Mhm.
so basically, what you're getting is kind of like the cubical quad. Cubical quad is a full loop, right? And this is just in the
Yes.
shape of a triangle, which actually makes it easier to put up. Than a square would be harder to put up, right? You could do it in a square also. I think
Yeah.
it would be shorter on the sides, but harder to put up. The triangle makes it kind of easy. The total length of the wires equals one wavelength for the band that you want to operate on. Now, we're going to get into this a little bit later because you can operate on multiple bands on these also. And there's ways of doing that. And later on in the slides, it'll tell us about that. It can be installed with the point up or down and can be fed from different points to create either horizontal or vertical polarization. So that's what we talked about earlier. And I was supposed to get myself I should have made one for it, but I didn't do it, Don. A picture of that. But
Mm.
so why people like them? So like a lot of antennas, when you close the ends up, they're more quiet. Like I have don't you have a LFA type Yagi?
Yeah.
So LFA Yagi, if you guys have never seen one, the driven unit looks like a
Yeah.
Moxon, basically. So what that does is it closes the ends off.
Oh
So
no,
it
I don't
doesn't have. Okay, you don't have but you have a Moxon. But so it looks, and then the rest of the antenna is
Yeah,
just
we've
regular like a
talked.
regular Yagi.
Yeah, you and I have
What's that?
talked about them, but and I've wanted one, but no, I've never
They're
purchased
supposed
one.
to be quieter. So, and then it has an efficient radiator. Works well at modest heights. So you don't have to have it real high. And if we do bring ours in, people probably aren't going to get them up real high because your mast actually has to hold everything. So you can only go as good as your mast is for height. Easy and inexpensive to build and can be built for single band or multi band. So, and I think that's what you're interested in, right? Is the multi band one.
Honestly, it's more of the quiet. That's
Mm-hmm.
really what I'm doing. Multi-banded is nice, but if you're using it just to listen, and in some cases, I've thought about using the delta as a receive loop in
Oh,
setting it as a secondary receive. That's the reason that like I want multiple delta loops. So I've got the big one back there, and it works really well on multiple bands from 160 through 10.
mm-hmm.
But that one is so huge and it works so well in that multi-band capacity that I would leave it the way it is, and I want
And
one
you
of
have
the
that one's flat
smaller
though, right?
ones. Flat meaning
It sits like this, right?
no.
Or is it a delta loop? Oh, it
Yeah,
is
it's
a
a
delta loop. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was showing you pictures of it. I mean, it's absolutely huge, and it
Okay.
sits on that little speaker stand about 3 feet off the ground as the feed point, and then it's got
Gotcha.
two 23-foot um, deal or metal uh,
Oh,
aluminum
I know which one
rods
you're
that go
talking
up
about.
literally 23
That'll
feet.
do 160.
Yep.
Wow.
It's actually for, in fact, I've got it sitting over here right now. It's receiving, uh, well, it's receiving even Victor Papatua, MAA. I don't remember who he is, but I receive him quite well. I've
Okay.
worked TI-1 RRC on it, which was a DXpedition to Costa Rica. So it works. It
Okay.
works really well, but it's absolutely massive, heavy.
All right. So here's your formula
Hmm.
for that most hams use is length equals 100,005 divided by frequency. So if you're doing, for example, they're talking about 20 meters, so 14.2 megahertz divided into 1,005 gives you 70.7 feet of total wire. So um, in each side of the triangle, you just divide it by three. So you got 23 and a half feet. That sounds like the size you have. Is that what you said yours was?
Yep, 23
Yeah.
feet high, and then
So
yes,
yours should be good on 20 then, right?
yep, it's good on 20.
Yeah.
Works well
And
on 20. And I think when I was talking about working Callum, I think I worked him on 20 meters.
yeah.
So
I worked him. Yeah, he has to work kind of for me because I'm only a general. I have to work him. He has to do the double frequency thing for me. I think, or
well,
there's just one little spot we can both talk on at the same and be legal.
on 20,
I think on 20. I think it was 20.
20, he's got the whole band. Only on
Oh,
40
yeah, but
do
I.
they.
Oh, really? Oh, maybe it
Yeah,
was 40.
yeah, 40
So
they can go up to 7,200.
okay. So configurations apex up, which is the triangle to the top, like we showed, like this. I guess we can. So like this. Okay. It's a common installation. Benefits easy to hang from a tree or a mast. Looks like what I was saying earlier. The feed point is usually at the bottom corner, but it can also be in the middle. But that's where I have it here. But it could be here too, and I think that changes things
Hmm.
for some reason. But usually on the corner, and that actually makes it pretty easy. What I was planning on using when we set ours up is those electric fence posts, the ones with the different loops on
Hmm.
them with the little
Right.
nail at the bottom. And that way you could set it on that, and that would take one of the corners for you
Yeah.
and stretch it. So
If
basically, you have to
you
stretch it.
Yeah, if you look at your formula is talking about like for 40 meters, you go, uh, what was it, 23 feet per side, and those 17-foot whips don't do it. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, that's for 20 though.
yeah, well, those 17-foot whips are supposed to be for 20, right?
Yeah, but I guess you probably would be able to make it up in the middle if you're
Yeah,
doing the V
you know
like
what?
this.
I think, wait a minute, mine's 23 and a half feet. That's 30 meters for me. That's what I'm. That is a 30-meter loop per their
Oh,
specification.
really? Well, this is
Yeah, yeah.
this is maybe I got some bad information here. I don't know. And
Or
so
it could be.
basically, that makes it a vertical if it produces horizontal polarization. Good for DX context. It says
Mhm.
easy to hang, and then the apex down with the triangle down, which would mean you need two poles to do that. That would be like this, right?
Mhm. Yep. That's how mine's oriented. Or well,
Oh, is it?
with flip. Well, with it flipped the other way. With it
Right.
flip
The first way, often
the feed
vertically
point all the way
polarized.
down at the bottom. But yeah, the one you were showing, yes, that you're correct about that.
And it says often vertically polarized can have a lower takeoff angle, good for DX
Hmm.
and ground wave context. I think I may have got something wrong in this one because I think they weren't both good for DX. I think I added something there by mistake. When I broke this one up so I could get the words bigger.
Well, the thing is, if you get the wire ones you can put up really high.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the and in
Well, if you
fact,
have trees,
mine's
you can
supposed to
really
be
do it.
on a mast, but like 30 feet in the air. But good luck somebody lifting it up that high without a crane. It's
So,
heavy.
so number 4 is feed methods. You
Yeah.
can feed a direct coax,
Hmm.
simple but not always ideal, and we'll find out why.
Yeah.
And this is what you had a discussion the other day about. Um, Better options are a 1-to-1 current bound or a 4-to-1 balun, depending on the impedance. Typically, feed point impedance around 100 to 120 ohms when fed at the corner, and about 50 ohms in some of the other configurations. So, if it's it depends on where you feed it. And Don and I were talking about that. We're not exactly sure how you figured out. What I would do is just hook both to it and see which one worked better for tuning. But so two different ways there. And then height above ground. The general rule: higher is better. Like most things, typical heights are 20 to 30 feet. And if you're using the 23 and a half footer, that would be about 20 feet, 20 to 30 feet, right? That says that
Hmm.
works well.
Yep.
35 to 60 feet is excellent performance. So loops often perform better than dipoles at the same height. And I guess that would be because it's a full wave, maybe.
Well, that and the fact that it's quieter too, because
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, quiet's always good.
yeah, well, your signal to noise is like king in a lot of cases. We talk about height as
Mm-hmm.
much, signal to noise, and I mean, I learned that when I moved out here. That's just uh, having a low noise floor, and having somebody like your noise floor being an S1 and somebody coming in at S9.
Yeah.
Uh,
Big strength.
there's nothing quite like that. Even if you got an S7 and it's S9, yeah, you hear them pretty well, but not like I hear them from an S1 to an S9.
Right.
And,
Thank you,
yeah.
Frank, for posting
Anyway,
that. So our new Discord, guys, if you want to get into that, make sure you go and it's free. And we're trying to keep a good eye on it. No, everybody's friendly. The friendliest one. Um, there we go. I thought I lost my page turner there. Radiation patterns. Delta loops tend to have low noise, produce a lower takeoff angle, and radiate broadside to the plane of the loop. They can also develop some gain over a dipole. So that where do we always test? Everything's tested against a dipole because that's your standard, right? So
mm-hmm.
they're saying here that you can actually get a little more gain than a dipole. And I'm telling you, man, I used to watch Steve talk to Europe on his, and he was like running 100 watts at that time. I don't think he even had any amps at the time, and he was just killing it. And people were giving him like just really, really good um, reports back. And you know him; he's Mr. Audio too. I don't know if he was into his audio back then or not, but I was sold. I've never set one up. I always want. Well, I did do. No, I take that back. I set up that chameleon one time, but that was sitting on the ground. I don't. That's not my favorite way to do it. To tell you the truth. So, on to the next slide. Oh, this one's for you. This one's in yellow because this is the discussion that our buddy Don was having the other night. Multi-band operation, and I don't know if people understood that's what you were talking about. You can run a delta loop on multiple bands by using a tuner and feed it with ladder line, and that was two things they told you not to do, right? Or at least they didn't
um,
tell you to use ladder
no,
line anyhow.
what they were saying is don't use the 4-to-1 at the feed point and feed it with coax. And no, that's a perfectly legitimate way to do it. And that's how these. And I actually got and we can look at it later. You can pull it up on DX Engineering.
Hmm.
But the DX
Do they have
Engineering,
info on that?
huh?
Do they have info on it, or just an antenna?
They have my review with my picture on it.
Oh my
I
gosh,
mean, the picture
we're,
of
we're
the
not going there. We're not going there, guys. Sorry.
not my
You got to look at him here. We're not looking at him twice. We're not doing double exposure here.
No, but well, you can see the antenna and how I've got it set up and what it looks like
Yeah.
because and how I've got it, and it's fed with a uh, at the bottom of it, it's got a 3500 or sorry 3 kilowatt amplifier or a 4-to-1
Portable.
balance at the bottom of it, and I mean it's coax. You screw coax into that.
Well,
It's
yeah, you
not
can
set
there.
for ladder line, although you could remove that and screw ladder line on it. But like I said, in
Mhm.
order to do that, with mine being 3 foot off the ground, and again, we can look at the picture later. Um, with it being 3 foot off the ground, um, keeping ladder line 3 foot off the ground for 200 feet, which is how far that is away from me,
Right.
is kind of hard to do. So.
Yeah, you'd have to have a lot of those little
Yeah, little stakes.
electric fence things.
Yep.
So what they're saying here, a 40-meter loop often works on 40, 20, 15, and 20. Maybe even, I would say maybe even 6 too. So basically they're talking about tuning it. And basically it's like a lot of things, like even my doublet's good for 80 to whatever, because it's long enough for 80. And mine's a little short for 80 because mine's kind of a hybrid. It's only 110 feet instead of 130 feet, but
Mhm.
it works really well. So, and I think you would probably use a 1-to-1 or a 4-to-1 with these to try and tune them.
Mhm.
Almost like we didn't change because we just changed colors. But building one is simple. Simple
Yep.
materials. You only need 70 to 140 feet of wire, depending on your bands.
Mhm.
3 insulators, a rope or paracord, a ballon, a coax feed line, and support of a tree, a mast, or a tower, whatever you have. So if you only have trees and you're looking for some kind of antenna that might get you some on the bands really well, this might be something to look at.
Yep.
And I would just personally, if it was me, I would if I had a tree that was pretty tall, I just get as high as I could get it off the ground
Mhm.
and just guy it off. If hopefully you got like it said at the end of this thing, three three trees would work good. So you tie it off the bottoms to the other trees, and then run your coax down. Maybe they'd
Mhm.
have to be perfect, but you can do it. You can make it up with your paracord or your rope. So
Yeah, unless the trees are
not
too close, which
yeah,
seems
if they're
like
too close, then you're going to have to do something better. But I'd get
every
it off the ground so that
yeah.
people wouldn't be walking into it or touching it or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And getting it up off the ground and if you can find two trees that are just too far away, you're perfect because
right,
and you of
yeah,
course
you'd rather have them a little far away than too close.
yeah, even if you can only put up a 10 meter, like I said, I've taken mine and I know other people have. It's a 10 meter, but you tune it on, 15 or 20, and
Right.
you can tune it up and it will get out. I've had
It
good
probably
luck.
won't be as good. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like going the other direction, like going 40 and down to 10 or 15
right. Exactly.
because you're
That's
less wire. You're probably going to tune more, but
it,
yeah.
yeah. I'm more getting at the fact that like you only got enough width between two trees to get up 10
Yeah, and
meters.
this
You know.
could be a good one for HOAs. I would, if you use small enough wire and something that's kind of almost invisible,
Yep.
you could hang this thing up and people might not see it, especially if it started out in a tree or someplace.
Hmm.
I don't even know how many slides we got, man. Okay, the pros. The pros, quiet receive, which is what you brought up.
Hmm.
It's an pretty efficient antenna, good for DX, and it's always good when it's easy to build. There's
Yep.
not a whole lot to it. I
Nope.
mean, you could take one of those. I don't think I have one sitting here. The little BNC deals.
Yeah. The
The
um,
one he has the BNC with the two red and black thing. You
two
could hook it up to
posts.
that, and there's your yeah BNC post binding post. You could use that as your corner. It wouldn't be too hard. A little
Hmm.
strain relief, That's
Yep.
they have the little holes in them. You can make strain relief also.
Yeah.
The
Right.
cons says it needs more space than a dipole. kind of. I guess
Mm,
because you're going two different directions. The feed point
oh,
impedance can vary. That's what we talked about earlier, and why you might need some type of 4-to-1 or a 1-to-1,
yep.
and it requires three different supports. I mean, some Yagis would. I mean, not Yagis, but some dipoles could, if you're trying to get them flat, might take 3 points or at least two,
Well, yeah,
unless you didn't want it to sag in the middle.
you don't really. I mean, if you have two feed points and you let the third point hang down,
Yeah, you could do that.
that's I yeah, and I think that's what Mike was doing. He had two masts,
He had two mast. Yes.
and he was just like he used the little connector just to weight it down, and then you put the coax on it, and that's going to pull it down also or weight it down as well. So you don't necessarily have to have that third point, but if you're putting it up permanently, if you left it like that, it's going to blow around in the wind. And
Right. Yeah, you want it. You want it
yeah,
nailed down someplace.
right. And
Excuse me.
wind can really do funny things to an antenna. Um, that's the reason that, like Callum, if you look at his DX commanders, he uses that
Hmm.
shock cord is to keep the tension on those wires so they don't blow around in the breeze. You're not
Right.
really
If
trying
you
to hold them up. You're trying to
it can
keep them from like wiggling around in the breeze. That's the reason you
right.
don't use paracord. You're using something to provide some tension so that it doesn't like go flopping
Yeah,
all
because
over.
you can it can change your when they're blowing around a little bit. You can
Yep,
change your SWR a little bit. I don't
it
think it's going to
does.
make it unless it was well. I mean, unless you didn't have it connected down, it might mess it up quite a bit. But
Yeah,
it can vary just a little bit.
yeah, and yeah. Anyway,
Real world results. Many operators report 2 to 3 units quieter than a dipole,
hmm
stronger DX performance, and excellent performance on the digital modes in CW. So we all know that a dipole is a pretty good antenna. If that's all you can get up, that's a good antenna to put up for your own
yes,
antenna. But they're saying this is even just a little bit better. And I would believe this because,
and
it's kind of like a cubicle quad in a way. And
yeah,
cubicle quads are like really, really good antennas. Just they're harder to build,
yeah.
especially if you're trying to do multiple. Although they do good, like they're kind of like a hex beam in a way. You can do multiple bands.
Oh, yeah, you can do that, but um, they are really, really good antennas. They're quiet. I mean, again,
Hmm.
this is cubicle quads. They're really, really quiet. So when you get them up, and they're quieter than a Yagi. And again, it's very similar to what's being said here.
Hmm.
2 to 3 units quieter, but if you're getting the same signal or the same amount of signal out of it, you're going to see a difference in the signal to noise ratio. That
Hmm.
means that the station that you're listening to, you're going to hear them better versus your noise floor. And
Right.
so a dipole, well, it's a great antenna, but if you can like beat it, not necessarily on gain, but on reducing your noise floor, you're actually going to do better. Oh yeah, I love the sky loops are great. Well, Skyloop is different, and there because the two opposing wires on it kind of act as a directional beam, and you get gain in that direction. You have to see the plots on that. So you don't get that much gain on a delta because they're not as far apart as you would with a sky loop. And I'm gunning to put up a sky loop. It's just there's a lot of challenges to
He's
feeding
pulling her leg
wires
there.
around trees. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This might be it. Oh, no, it's not.
Nope.
Performance. This is kind of the same thing we just
Yeah,
did.
it's
Efficient
gonna
radiator.
yep.
Looks like I doubled up on this. Sorry about that, guys.
Lower takeoff angle when you feed it vertically in a vertical
Hmm.
orientation. When you feed it horizontal, no, it's not gonna have a lower takeoff angle. It's gonna have about the same takeoff angle. In some cases, they're really good for uh, invis in a horizontal position. So, or sorry,
Hmm.
yeah, in a horizontal position, you can use them for that because again, they're quieter than an invis delta loop or invis dipole. So,
Ape is out on business. He has had to go work this week.
yeah, he,
He's in Nashville.
yeah,
If you guys are around Nashville, look him up.
hmm,
I'd look at the real swanky hotel that they have there and look in the bar at night.
yeah,
Just saying, he might be there. There
yeah.
may have been a sighting last night.
Or if there's a really expensive steakhouse, you could probably track him down.
Yes, yes, we were talking about that too. We do a little food talk here and there, and we'll post stuff up. Don does too. Don, we had a little group of Don in there also.
Hmm.
Um, did you have your picture? Did you want to show everybody your picture? You
Yeah.
can share them if
Do
you
you
want.
want to bring up that website, DX Engineering? It's up to you. I mean, um, I have it as well, already up, but
Oh, you already have it up. Well, you
well,
you
yeah,
can
I
share it.
pulled it up. Let me see. Where is that? This share screen. Uh, share screen. Uh, why don't
Well,
okay.
he's doing that. I can't plug it in because my cord's not long. I made a little light out of this. I messed up on my thing. This was too thin. It makes a really nice light though. It'll glow in the dark light.
It's not
Gotta use
giving
that
me
stuff
the
up.
option to share my second screen.
Oh,
Oh, it's window do it? Window does it. There we go. I think that went out.
oh man, this is at the estate too, huh? Can you make
Yeah.
it bigger?
Um, from wait a minute. Isn't there something you can do in the no, not there, but over here where
Well,
you
over on the right hand side.
yeah, zoom like this. Does that
There you
help?
go. Yep, sort of. More the after a point, it gets to where it makes things smaller too.
Yeah.
Actually, if you go back a little bit, I think it was bigger for the picture. But so that's your little. Yeah, that's good. You can
Hmm.
see your that's like a speaker stand, right? You
Yeah,
said
it's a 150-pound speaker stand that goes up 8 foot. The
it's
but
150 pounds.
it can handle a 150-pound
Oh,
speaker. Yes.
oh,
No,
gotcha.
no, it doesn't weigh 150 pounds. No, sorry, it can handle 100.
The way you said that is like, yeah, I find that
Yeah.
hard to believe. But okay,
Well, yeah,
that would be
that's
good though because it would make it nice and sturdy, huh?
yeah, and
So I don't know if you guys
that
can see it or not. I don't know if my cursor doesn't, but you can see the wire going across the top up there. And then
yeah,
those are steel. What are these poles here?
aluminum.
So that you're using the aluminum there.
Yeah, and
And you
then
said
there.
those are 23 and a half feet and then 23 and a half across the top.
Yep.
Is that the only picture you have it?
It's the only one, yeah, that I can
Oh,
pull
okay.
up. Yeah, I've got
But you said you
other
have a 4 to
pictures.
1 balun at the bottom, right?
Yeah, the
Down at the bottom.
unfortunately the 4-to-1 is on the other side, so it's
Okay.
like that green wire is going off to guy it. I've got 3 guys on that thing. One of them's tied to a tree, and
He's got his guys on it.
where that green wires going across the bottom, or it may look white, whatever. Anyway, that wire that's
Yeah.
going, or that it's not a wire, it's a piece of paracord where that's going, it's tying it to a tree. And on that side of that, there's an aluminum plate at the bottom that it all screws into. And that's where the balun is right there. And then you screw coax onto that. And that is about
It does
200
look like a
some odd
wishbone.
feet that direction. So, um, and so it sits out, it's literally out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing very close to it. So it's a little quieter than being up closer here to the house. And if you, there's a sawhorse that's kind of there. So you get a kind of sense of how high that is off the ground. and yet because it's fed at the bottom of that loop, it has really good takeoff. And I don't see, I looked because I was trying to find at one time, and I'm going to close this. Okay. At one time, DX Engineering had,
Oh, that was your credit card there, man.
yeah, right. No,
Did you guys get his credit card info?
yeah, you want to write that down for us, Groot.
I got a
They used
copy.
to they used to have a see, now they've got this thing that says check for fit. It used to have the documentation, so you could
Oh,
put
it's there usually.
yeah, and it's been there before, but and I was wanting to like click
It's
on it and bring
usually
the
it's usually
documentation.
up higher though. It's up higher. Oh, you're in reviews. It's usually
Um,
right there. Well, it's usually right underneath the overview.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, they don't, but it
And that's
doesn't.
a
This is their
E antennas. Is that what that is?
yeah, it's the antennas, and this is their Delta 7B, and they show it like this. They have an they have an 11B that's 11 meters, and that's what's actually shown here. That is not the 7B. That's how it looks with that particular balun is not the balun that this one comes with. They have a 1.5 kW balun and a 3K balun. That's the 1.5. But anyway, that's kind of what it looks like. And you see these metal connectors that are here that like these metal connectors. I don't know if,
What do you
these
look
metal
that up under?
connectors here. That is not what mine comes with. Mine comes with a couple of wires that come down here. But if you got this up high like this other picture is, if you got it up high, then you could feed
Mm-hmm.
that with ladder line by removing all of this and just connecting directly to these connection posts at the bottom of these two uh, plates or these two deals, uh, metal or aluminum masts. And then, yeah, that's another picture of it. And this is what inspired me to like, um, you'll see on my channel where
Hmm.
I actually built a very small version of this out of 17-foot whips, out of something that
Mm-hmm.
Prep Hand Paul showed, which was a little form that was for a dipole or
Mm-hmm.
V dipole that was sold out of
Excuse
China.
me.
And I got that and I basically made a delta loop that very, very similar to this out of 17-foot whips. And it worked good. I took it out on POTA and I showed me, or I've got a video showing me running it on POTA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, really quiet. And I worked quite a few stations that day. But I don't. One of the things I had problems with on that was one day that fell over in the wind, and it bent one of the, uh, you know,
Oh,
the
17
MFJ.
footers.
Yeah, the MFJ 17 footers, and if like the res ones and the alpha and the chameleon, those are like light years better than anything that those MFJs. So I wouldn't be nearly as concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But and res has some really good ones now that they're the shortened ones, but they're because there's so many joints in it, it's
Mm-hmm.
much more resilient to being folded in this because there's
It's
tension on
heavier
these
too.
wires. Yeah, and res supplies a Kevlar wire that goes in between. Although having fed that with just like DX or D10 wire from Callum,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine. Eh, I would not get 26 gauge and pull it between those two because there's tension pulling back, and you don't want to get a good piece of wind coming in and breaking it. So
Right.
18 gauge or D10 will work just fine. You don't have to have the Kevlar that the res guys supply, but
I
not
think
there's
I
nothing
think
wrong with
Frank
it.
should set one of these up. I think Frank should set one of these up on one of his POTUS.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes out and POTUS
I,
all the time.
I think Frank should do something at his house so he can hear HF at his house.
He can't hear HF at his house.
No, that's what he tells me. Now, I'm
Huh.
not sure. Uh, he hasn't done any videos on it but yes. So,
Oh, that was a good picture there. That shows the bottom of it.
yeah, this one. All right. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, this stuff's been around forever.
Yeah, there's
There's the
there's the
top.
connection. Yeah, there's the connection at the top. And it literally, see, it's got a fairly stiff connector. And one of the biggest challenges to this is getting that wire on there. But remember, this thing is meant to be permanently installed outside. I've had mine out now since I bought it, which is more
You've
than
been
6 months. It's about a year.
yeah.
I've had it out there. It's still just as good as the day I bought it. And so it's a nice heavy duty deal. There's the bottom of it that you were talking about.
They're
And
using the old hydraulic clamps. Looks like
mhm. Yeah,
that's our buddy.
Colin uses them.
Colin loves them things.
Yeah,
But he can find them cheap. I finally found a place in the U.S. where you can buy them cheap, and then I
yeah,
probably lost it. They're hard
yeah.
to find.
They are hard to find in the U.S., but they're all over
They're
Europe.
they're
And this
hydraulic
comes
lines. So if you have a hydraulic company near you that does hydraulic lines and stuff, you can probably get them there. I don't know what the cost is, but the ones I found in the U.S. are pretty expensive. So
yeah,
that's why I've steered
and
away from them. I made some one time. I printed some out one time. You can do that.
yeah, those are molded plastic. But
But
I mean, the 3D printed ones probably just fine.
yeah, I mean, it would probably last for a while at least.
Hmm. And for me right now, I mean, a lot of my antennas are for outdoor use permanently. I
Hmm.
like to keep them outside. I've got a few that, well, I mean, obviously, I've got several of the car antennas, and when y'all finally do get that new one out, I will get one of those. And
Yeah, I'm
but
actually waiting on parts right now. I ran
huh?
out of parts.
Oh, you
We
did?
were trying to. Well, yeah, the I got some. I got some in yesterday, but
Mhm.
the little coupling nuts are hard to
Yeah.
get.
Oh,
Um, and then a 3/8 24 is not the most common one of the coupling nuts either. It's a 3/8 16, I think, is the more common one. They're easier to find.
hmm.
But Ape and I mean, my printers have been printing nonstop for couple for weeks now, trying to get ready for Dayton. We're gonna have some
Well,
at Dayton. The boxes, the text, the well, what does he call them? The hydras.
yeah.
And then I did do this one up. We actually, before you mentioned it, we were trying to do something with the Delta Loop thing too on ours.
Hmm.
Just not sure exactly how we're going to hook them up, but I think we got it figured out, and that'll come later. But I designed the box and everything for it already, and
Yeah.
that can fit it's our big fat boys here. They fit in there.
Yeah. I
I
was
don't know if
messing.
that's what we'll use or not, but
Yeah, I was messing around in my Connex box a few minutes ago, and that's all just stuff I moved over here that I haven't had a time, over almost 2 years now, and I haven't had a chance to go through all of it. And I was over there, and there were two big toroids just sitting there. I don't know where they came from, but they're just sitting out. So I got all kinds of nice things that I bought that I just, you know, you
yeah.
you, you get
I
enough
want to thank
this part.
Walker for being a new member.
Mm.
KR4IUG. Thank you, Walter, Walker.
Well,
Walker. I don't know if
welcome
that's your
to.
last name or first name. Welcome to the madness. I don't know. I was surprised that Ape's not in here because he's got phone service, I think, but he'll watch it later, I'm sure, and he'll critique us. He'll critique us in our little chat how good or bad we did.
Yeah. Well, I'm
But
sure
I,
he's doing the Miller Lite thing right now, and
yeah, or more. I'm
yeah,
gonna
he could be
do.
out.
Tell you the truth, I'm gonna do a Delta loop here pretty soon because
Oh yeah.
I'm trying. I'll be doing ours. I'll be our test guy on that thing. So that's something
Another
else we're
thing.
looking at. It's just trying to get different things out there for people. You know, make it
Yeah.
easy for people.
Well, one thing, yeah, I always like to throw suggestions at you, Chuck, but and forgive me, but one thing, you remember your 6 meter hex, just the 6 meter
Mm-hmm.
hex?
Mm-hmm.
If you could figure out a way to get those or get something like that, a form like that, where people could build a single band hex for POTA,
Got
you
it.
know,
I've got. I just actually got the parts for that yesterday too.
yeah. So,
I'm gonna do it something on the line of my Moxon that I did.
yeah,
To tell you the truth, the Moxon's an easier single band because it takes less parts.
yeah, but
And
getting the rods and all of that tensioned,
oh, it's easy. It's
whereas you
easy.
don't really need tension on a hex beam because
Well, you don't. Well,
everything I've
you don't need it on a. You don't need it on a Moxon either. You can
uh,
do a flat Moxon. You can do a flat Moxon.
yeah,
It just
but I
I
mean at
like it.
the end of the
You
day,
get a little
there,
extra height, man. You get that extra 2 feet. You know that could be the
yeah.
maker or the breaker there, man.
Every time I've tried to build them, they never come out like the ones you got, the one you did, because like I think you were using arrowhead or arrows, right?
Hmm.
Carbon,
I know
boy.
your favorite carbon fiber,
Well, no, that doesn't. I like
but
carbon fiber, but
they're not
boy,
touching it.
arrowheads. Where the hell are you going to go find those or not arrowheads? Sorry, but arrow shafts.
Arrows. Oh, I got a bunch of them, man. I
Well,
got
you do now, but I mean, where would you go and buy them today?
well, actually, the carbon fiber easier to find than aluminum. Remember for 22 months,
But I don't even know
WG
where to begin to look.
5X radio. How are Artemis and Apollo's different? The Artemis. Um,
Artemis is
I
a
think you're talking about the Aries and Apollo. Probably the Aries and Apollo is what we're talking
the
about.
Artemis is the thing going to the moon. The
Yeah,
rock, the name of the
so our
mission.
antennas are Apollos and Aries. The Aries is probably what the Aries is a 9-to-1, so it's a random
Random
infed
wire.
half wave, random wire, and the Apollo is a infed half wave. It's good for what 10, 15, 20, and 40.
Right. And
And the wires
without
come, and ours come with enough wire to get you 40 also, so not extra.
yeah, the 9-to-1
Um,
requires a tuner, and the 49 or the infed half wave does not require a tuner.
was our first one was it? It might have been the Artemis. Come to think of it, and if that's the case, I think our first one was our first Apollo was the Artemis. We changed the winder. The difference there is the sorry about that. The difference there is the winders. We improved our winders a lot.
Hmm.
Went to a better. I think that was the Artemis, and basically we retired that one. Same antennas. Sorry about that. I knew it
Hmm.
sounded familiar. It's been shoot 4 years since we did that.
Yeah, I still have.
You may have an Artemis actually.
Well, I
The
do.
Artemis.
Well, I don't. The one that I have, and you may have improved it, but it was definitely the molded
It was
one.
not. It was still nylon. They were actually
Okay, so
gray.
could be
They were
that I.
actually gray, but
Well,
we
I got
improved
one.
the design a little
Yeah,
bit.
I got one of the one of those antennas in before y'all were selling them. So I got uh, a early. I was one of the early beta testers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, the Artemis was the original. They were most of those were gray, I believe,
Yeah,
and then we had them dyed on the when we the second batch may have been dyed black.
yeah. I've
So
got
there
a
might be
picture.
some black Artemises out there too, but we redesigned everything, and the new winder just it's more appealing. I
Hmm.
don't know. It just looks better, and we in fact when eventually we're going to quit the nylons because they're just too expensive,
Yeah,
and
right.
we want to be a little. We'd like to bring our prices down, but we can't because of the winders, and eventually we're going to go to. Well, I can show you one here. I've already redesigned them, and I've made some upgrades to the new one when we first. once we run out,
You might,
we're gonna actually print them
yeah,
ourselves
Chuck, you might drop the pictures so that we can plus you up, so to speak. There you go.
like that.
Yep.
So what I've done is, if you see where it's hard back, everything's back here. This whole hole here, I moved this hole up to make it a little bit easier to get your ground lug in, and then
Yeah.
we added another hole back here, so it's a little closer than all the way out
Hmm.
here. And in the back, everything's flush now. Even the wire ties. When you set this on a table or something now, it just sets flush. And that's a few of the things. Those are just my things that bothered me with our original design. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
Hmm.
most of the time they're hanging in the air. They're not really on a table or anything.
Yeah.
But what I did do is, because the regular stuff that's printed like this is not usually as strong as our nylon was. So
Mhm.
I also, these are thicker. I
Yeah,
beefed them up. They're really strong. I mean,
you know, one way that I
barely move it.
actually put those up is I take the, like, from the opposite of the wire end. I
Hmm.
take one of those bongo ties and go across,
Right.
the little X, and then
Hmm.
pull, then tie a rope to that and put some tension on it so that the bongo ties,
Yeah,
or providing the tension so that it keeps
that's a
the
great way
wire.
to do it.
Yeah,
Actually,
it
actually, you
worked
could,
really
if
well.
you if you wanted to, you could get some bungee cord and
Yeah.
just tie it on there permanently.
Yeah, you could, but I don't know, the bongo tie. Once I'm done with it, I just pop it off, and then I can wind the wire back on. Right.
And tell you the truth, the bongo tie is easier. We give you a Velcro thing, but I think the bongo thing's is easier.
Mm,
we are going to have our we are going to bring our. It'll be the first time we're selling them. We're going to have some of our. I have two. So the first, whoever gets there first gets those. But I have two built QRP antennas, infrared half waves, and then I have a bunch of printed ones with. We're going to sell with the BNC and with the winder,
yeah.
and then you can add whatever wire you want to it, and they're not going to be super expensive. And we will have some toroids. Those take a 114, and
Yeah.
they should get you 20 watts probably. If you
Hmm.
get it tuned good, it should give you 10, even on FT8 probably.
Yeah.
I think originally well, never mind, I won't say that, but so we'll have those there. I'm doing up a little keychains. We may give those out with sales of other things. I don't know if
Hmm.
you guys can see that.
Well,
Got
you
to
can
find
bring
the right button. Got to find
string.
the right button.
Yep, not that one.
Well, that wasn't it.
No,
Maybe it's this one. Here, let me do this.
smaller.
Now I got to get that one out of here. There we
There
go.
we go. Now you're back to we're both of us. Now
Yeah,
it's
I
a
don't
black
know.
screen. Now you're
I don't do
small.
this part. This is Ape's job. Here we go. It was way
There
over
you
here. Sorry, I was at the wrong end. So that one's it's just keychains.
go. Hmm.
That's for Apollo. I've got a Cartena. I got Poseidons, all kinds of different ones. And
You
then I've
don't
also got
you don't have one. Sorry, you
I
don't
also
have
have
one that's. I'm sorry, Chuck. You go ahead.
well, I also have them. I took our winders and I shrunk them
Hmm.
down to that size, and
Oh
we
yeah,
have like a fake winder with a fake toroid and everything on it. So they're pretty cool.
but you should have some that say Artemis. People will buy those because of the moon missions.
Because they're gone, because they
No,
can't buy them. Like,
because of the moon missions,
oh,
right?
well, okay.
NASA's next 4 missions, I think.
Doesn't Apollo work?
No, because they're not flying Apollo; they're flying Artemis.
But they did fly Apollos, man.
Years ago, yes, but the
Yeah.
new ones are the Artemis. But yes, you're right. There are people that
Well,
missed just about that, right?
you got any? Yeah. Well, it's all fake.
Mhm. Sure.
They shot it. They shot it in Huntsville. I saw where they shot it at. Was there? Did you have anything else to add tonight on your antenna, your delta loops? So you like them.
Oh yeah.
So if Don says they're good, guys, they're good.
They're
when you're typing.
quieter. All of the things that you put in those slides, they're all of those things, and it's noticeably quieter. And when people are talking about running a log or something like that,
Hmm.
uh, yeah, those are very effective for receive only antennas. But if you want something that can also transmit,
Right.
uh, a delta is going to be, in my opinion anyway, much easier to deal with than a mag loop. So, and you
Yeah.
get a
Well,
lot of
mag loops are they're so narrow. I mean,
yeah,
you're
high.
always doing them. If you guys have nothing better to do tonight, when you get done here, I'm gonna go over and see Kyle. He's doing Let's Install an All Star node in his truck, and he's going to be
Mm.
live and tell him Car sent you if you go over there.
And ask him why he's not putting it
All
in the
right.
high trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it's not in the hiker, man. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll do it tonight. Appreciate everybody being here tonight, and
Mhm.
got some new members. And don't forget to our store will be up pretty soon. We just about got all the paperwork done for that.
Mm.
But our first sales will probably be at Dayton because that's what we're kind of gearing up for. I've got to mail Ape a few things because he's going to drive and pick me up, and I have all my keys there. I've got a new key. I got two new keys from last year, and the
Mm.
old one still.
Yep.
And hopefully, I can stop printing here pretty soon and start building. All right. Well, thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Don't make sure you're still what do you call it? Like you hit the bell. Make sure you're still
Subscribe.
subscribed because supposedly I've heard in other genres that there people are being kicked off for some reason. I don't know why YouTube does that, but
Oh, I've had
70,
that happen. Not
yeah,
to this
73.
channel, but others. Yes.
Yeah, so make sure you're still subscribed. Later, everybody. We 73 all, and we hope to get you guys later.
Thanks for having me on, Chuck, and bye,
Oh, I
everybody.
appreciate